increasingly as if the door to the car deck opened for some reason and the sea came flooding in. About 350 people are reported to be safe. They were picked up by other craft. An enormous international operation is underway, with divers going down along the hull to seek to rescue those people believed trapped inside. Weather conditions are good. The rescue work will go on throughout the night.
Stephen Jessel in Zeebrugge. Well, one of the survivors who was taken to Bruges Hospital was Rosina Summerfield from London. Though still deeply distressed, she gave our reporter James Robbins this account of what happened.
All of a sudden there was a crash and the boat fell sideways, and it fell sideways, and we thought that it was going to correct itself, but it just fell further and further until it was completely on its side. There's people screaming and shouting, and there was children, and everybody was shouting for help, and then the lights went out of the water, and all you could hear was water, and water came through the side that sunk, and people were floating around, and there was glass and everything everywhere, and people floating and children crying.
How did you manage to get out?
We screamed. I was in the corridor, and the water was coming up further, and we were climbing up the stairs further and further because they was on the side. And we climbed further and further to get out of the water. And we couldn't smash the window above. If they got any more, we'd have been drowned. And then the rescue people came in about 20 minutes, and we sitting there crying. And they smashed the windows, pulled us through.
Britain's part in the rescue operation is being coordinated from the RAF Southern Rescue Centre in Plymouth. Their main task has been to send Royal Naval divers to the scene. From Plymouth, this report now from John Walmsley.
In the RAF Coordination Centre at Mount Wise in Plymouth, the call for all help was acted on immediately. The centre scrambled helicopters from the Royal Naval Air Station at Caldrose in Cornwall and from Brawdy in South Wales, Manston in Kent and Coltishall in Norfolk, the furthest some 350 miles away from Zeebrugge. But it was from Plymouth that the main need, experienced divers who could find survivors trapped in the hull, were alerted to join up with waiting aircraft. There are people inside that ship. In these water conditions, how long have they got?
Well, in the situation that we hope that the survivors are in, which is inside the ship and not immersed in water, they could last rather longer than they could in water alone, where the life expectancy is anything between a quarter of an hour and half an hour.
So what can your divers do?
Well, we hope that in the fullness of time that they'll be able to get inside the ship and find survivors in air pockets and so on inside the ship. But at the present time, the pressure is on us to get people into the disaster scene as quickly as possible so that the divers can assist in the rescue effort that's going on at the moment.
And we finish this special bulletin with the latest casualty details available from Townsend Torreson. They say that of the 463 passengers thought to have been on board, 350 have been rescued, and all of the 80 crew members are safe as well. But the company say that at least 5 people have died. There is one emergency telephone number to call if you think you may have had friends or relatives on board. The number is 0622, that's the code for Maidstone, 0622 54321. Let me just repeat that, 0622 54321. And Townsend Torreson say you should not call a London number that they gave out earlier. And that's the latest news from BBC Television tonight. Radio 2 will, of course, be on the air throughout the night, and at 8:30, BBC1 will be back on the air with a special edition of Breakfast Time. For the moment, though, from the BBC Television newsroom, good night.
Now the weather. There'll be a frost in eastern areas tonight, and some roads will become icy. Tomorrow, western areas will be windy with outbreaks of rain. Much of Britain will have a mixture of sleet and snow, however, with several inches of snow possible on high ground. Eastern areas will be a little brighter than on Friday. With fresh or strong southeasterly winds, most places will feel very cold. And that's the weather. Well, the time now is coming up to 5 minutes to 1. And once again, a reminder that BBC1 will be on the air at 8:30 in the morning with Breakfast Time Special reporting the latest news of the ferry disaster in Zeebrugge. But for the moment, from all of us on BBC1, I'll wish you good night.